waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Deep three. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain.
Oh, mercy! The one-handed flush!
Every game, all season, right here on your home for Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
It's time to get ready for game day. That means Alabama football and tailgating. Whether you're tailgating at home or at Bryant-Denny, visit Brooks & Collier for North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers like Big Green Egg, Blaze, Delta Heat, Memphis, and Traeger. Satisfy any palate with our wall of rubs and seasonings. For all your tailgating needs, visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for over 75 years. Roll Tide.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. Are those new school clothes wearing out that old washer and dryer? Well, it's time to get off the bus at Owen Home Appliance Center and learn what a new Speed Queen washer can do for you. They're in stock and are ready for delivery now. At Owen Home Appliance Center, quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's right there in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center. 2 locations to serve you, Highway 36 in Somerville and the interactive location at Highway 231 in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
We are walking you up to the college football playoff as they're still playing football. And tonight is game number 16 for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
It's just unbelievable.
Just saying that out loud. Game number 16 for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
So they'll have to play 17 games.
If they win tonight. And it is game number 15 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, as they are 13-1. The Penn State Nittany Lions are 13-2, as they are, in fact, the worldwide leader is already giving you pregame coverage, as Penn State, as well as Notre Dame, already have records in terms of the amount of wins. Each has the same number of wins at 13, and Penn State, of course, played in the Big Ten championship game and lost to Oregon. And I'm really intrigued to see, offensive line-wise, how at that ranking that Trevor Maddich gave us on Tuesday, and see how that shakes out tonight between Notre Dame and Penn State. Are you excited to see the game tonight? Are you going to watch the game tonight?
Yeah, I'll watch it, of course. Yeah, I'll watch it. But excited, no. I mean, it's just a long season.
So, I know basketball season is here. A big win for the Alabama Crimson Tide. They were up 45-28 at halftime at South Carolina. That's a good South Carolina.
And the coach wasn't happy.
No,
they were missing their best player though.
They shot better from the floor than they did at the free throw line.
Yeah, well, that's because of our gift to South Carolina. He missed a bunch.
Yeah,
he was bigger.
But I'm telling you, last night, if you didn't stay up and watch the late game, Texas A&M came from 18 down at half and came from behind and beat Oklahoma on their home floor.
Wow.
80-78 was the final score. Big win for the Aggies as they improved to 2-0. Alabama also 2-0. And earlier in the week, Tuesday night, the Auburn Tigers got themselves a big win as well, as they are 2-0 in conference play as well. And
there's some teams won on the road last night too. That's hard to do in the SEC.
Very.
It looks to me like Alabama's getting better. And
still early January.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ebbs and flows of the game, and hopefully they won't get anybody else hurt, because this is going to be fun to watch. I mean, they were building up the Iron Bowl last night, the basketball.
The IBOB, yeah.
Yeah, and heck,
as they should.
As they should, yeah. It's because it's a kind of. It's not like Alabama. They strive to play defense, this or that, but nobody plays defense like Auburn has this year so far, in my opinion, anyway.
So, I mean, it is pretty remarkable that we are talking basketball in a big, big way with the college football playoff going on. I think that's pretty significant for many reasons, but it really started with a hiring, and that would be Bruce Pearl getting hired down at Auburn University, and that kind of put Tuscaloosa on notice. And sure enough, a couple of hires later, Nate Oates has got that program humming pretty good as well. But the man that made that hire, and Jay Jacobs, the former athletic director at Auburn University, is kind enough to join us here out of the gate. And it's always fun to talk with you, Jay. How are you?
Hey, Steve, Wes, I'm doing great, War Eagle. How are you guys doing?
We are doing quite well. I'll give you a War Eagle as well, because of just how I take me back through that hiring process, and what was that like for you ultimately landing on Bruce Pearl?
Hey, I will. So, Wes, there's not a war eagle in you, is it, man?
You knew that already now, didn't you?
Exactly right. It's like there's something else not in me, brother. But I tell you, I was listening to you guys. I tell you, you know, we've raised the level at men's basketball in the SEC. So I'll try to be brief, but what happened was the SEC athletics directors always had a meeting, and I think they still do, at the SEC men's basketball tournament. They may, switch between the men and the women now, but and on Wednesday, March the 12th of 2014, Commissioner Slive sort of had a come to Jesus meeting with us. And he had some stats there and revealed to us how poorly we were doing in men's basketball. For several years before, Arkansas and Kentucky pretty much carried the league, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all had some streaks, but they pretty much carried it. And if we didn't have them, we wouldn't sell out an arena. But anyway, he read us the riot act, so we got to get better in men's basketball. And I jokingly, it's not really fair, but I jokingly say, well, I went that night after we lost South Carolina, I fired our head coach because I took Commissioner Slive seriously. And so the next morning, on Thursday morning, the 13th, I called my dear late friend, was the athletics director of Tennessee, Mike Hamilton, and I asked Mike about Bruce, and he said, Jay, he will be a difference maker. You should hire him. And I said, but you fired him. I said, I had to. We didn't have a choice. So on Friday, me and David Benedict, who was with Auburn at the time, now he's the AD at Connecticut. By the way, his coaches won 2 back-to-back national championships in basketball, so he knows a little bit about it. So
pretty good.
He and I, what's that now?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
He also shunned the Lakers to stay at UConn.
Exactly. So he's got a pretty good thing going there. Incredible, the coaches he's hired. But so we flew to New York, and we interviewed a very prominent, an agent had reached out to us, and we interviewed a very prominent current head coach. That was on Friday. So we went to Connecticut that night because Bruce was in the studio with ESPN, if you may recall. And we met with Bruce at 10 o'clock that night or 10:30 after he got off the air, and at a hotel right there in the shadows of ESPN. And to be quite frank with you, it didn't go well. And when I say that, what I mean is that generally when you interview a coach, they're sort of on the edge of their seat trying to say everything they can to get the job, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, guys?
Yeah.
That was not the case with Bruce.
Do you think it was because he didn't think you could hire him? Looking back on it?
Wes, when I look back on it, at the time I felt a real uncomfort. But looking back on it, I think that's part of it. I think the number one thing, Wes and Steve, is that the number one thing was that he hadn't forgiven himself. He was so terribly embarrassed for his family in Tennessee, not for him, of what had happened there, that I don't think that he could reconcile and get reconciliation and restoration in his heart and his spirit for embarrassing his family in the University of Tennessee. He was carrying all that, and when we sat there in that hotel suite and talked to him, there was some emotion. He was a little bit. We talked about a lot of different things in short areas, nothing really deep, and it just didn't. It was most unusual, and so David and I. It was about 12:30, I guess we wrapped it up. We went downstairs to the hotel lobby, and we were just talking about it. Said, this is odd. We do have this other guy that wants the job. And we decided, you know what, let's see if we can have coffee with Bruce in the morning. And I can't remember you guys, if Bruce called us like immediately, or we called him, but it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So we agreed to have coffee the next morning. Hey guys, it was completely different. It was unbelievable. It is the Bruce that we know today. So, Wes, when you asked that question, which is a really good question, as all your questions are, Wes, I look back on it and I think, okay, he couldn't forgive. I look back on it and I think he couldn't forgive himself. At the time, guys, I thought, okay, he is just exhausted from being on the air for 2 or 3 days in a row, which you could imagine. You guys know.
Yeah, it does wear you out. It's amazing, really.
I can't imagine, just having to do that. And so that's what I thought it was. But looking back on it, it was much deeper than that. He is, as we've all come to know, he is a very passionate and one of the most caring people I know. And he was having a really hard time getting over the fact that he had something that he did impacted other people. If it was just him, he would still wear it, but not the same way. But Saturday morning, guys, it was like a switch had been flipped. He started talking about things like, hey, now, Jay, let me just tell you now, if you get me, you get all of me. He was saying the things that you would normally get, Wes and Steve, in an interview. And he did say, he said, quite frankly, guys, last night when we talked, I was not prepared to go anywhere this year because I still have 5 months of the show calls. He said, I wasn't prepared. I was happy to come and talk to you all. But back to your point, Wes, I don't think he was thinking that we were going to do it as part of it as well. So, but he told us on Saturday morning, he said, hey, guys, I'm not going to make any decision until I get back to Knoxville on Monday evening and talk to my family. Well, you guys know because y'all are in the business, but for the listeners, 2 days in the coaching search world is like 7 years, like a dog year. And we've got this other Power 5 coach that is interested in Auburn, pretty much has told us that he would come hanging out there. And, I'm not sure that other people would do this, and I'm not sure that it worked out. It worked out in this case, but I called that other coach on Monday morning and told him, I said, I know his agent had told us he had another opportunity. And I called that coach and I said, hey, look, I don't know where this is going to end up, but I've got a guy I'm going to try to hire. And if I don't hire him, I would try to hire you, but I also know I won't be able to tell you till tomorrow. And I know that time is of the essence for you. So he took the other job. So we were there with Bruce, hook, line, and sinker. But it was just how we felt about it. So anyway.
So I always heard that there was a guy, the guy that actually was working for the NCAA that helped, I guess, prosecute or however you want to say, compliance was working for you guys and knew the whole thing, and that's the way you were able to clear him faster than anybody else could. Is that accurate?
100%. A lot of that is accurate. So when you say clear him, we didn't have to clear him only if he had to show cause.
Yeah.
The only way we would have had to clear him, guys, if we had said we're gonna fight the show cause for the next 5 months. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
But we didn't do that. But Wes, that question so Dave Gideon, okay?
So that's the guy you were with, right?
No. I was with David Benedict.
Okay, David Benedict.
Dave Gideon was our compliance guy at Auburn when I hired Bruce. But to your point, this is an interesting story, is that Dave Gideon worked at Auburn. We hired him from the NCAA. He worked at Auburn, I don't know how many years, guys, and then he went back to the NCAA. And then a few years later, I hired him back to Auburn. Well, Dave was the investigator at the NCAA at the time and investigated Bruce. So, as I mentioned, I called Commissioner Slive, and Commissioner Slive said, Jay, it's time for Bruce to be back in the SEC. Wow. The next call I made was Dave Gideon, because he's on my staff now. And Dave is a very nice guy, but he when it comes, it is black and white. He's exactly what you want in compliance. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
So I said, Dave, hey man, step up here for a minute. He came up, boss. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget where he sat, where I sat. I said, Dave, what do you think about if I were to hire Bruce Pearl? What do you think about that? He said, I'd hire him. Wow. And I looked at him like he had three heads because
that wasn't what you were expecting to get.
It was not what I was expecting. This was on Thursday, and I said, Dave, he did this and lied to the NCAA. 3 years show cause, got fired. He said, Jay, I'm telling you. He said, I've done this for a bunch of years, but I've never been with the guy that when he made a mistake, he did that. He turned it around so quickly, and he was so remorseful. He said, Jay, I'm telling you, that will never happen again with this guy. He said, I can't say that about a lot of people, but he said, I'm telling you, I would hire Bruce Pearl. And that
was
with
it.
His blessing and the commissioner's blessing, then I called Jay Gooch, who was the president at the time. He said, I'm good with it. So we went to work, and we signed a contract on Monday night, March the 17th, and sitting at Bruce's house, having pizza and a few cold pops, and no agents, no anybody. On Tuesday, we got on the plane and flew to Auburn.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had to imagine Tuesday night was a pretty special night, just to witness, just to see what he has done with that program.
Hey, Steve, Tuesday night, so we have a press conference, you know. You have these, and,
Yep.
you know, if you're a football coach in the SEC, you know, with a couple of exceptions, you know, like Kentucky, you know, you have a press conference there. You know, there's a lot of press, and there may be 50 or 100 people show up. Well, we had this in Neville Arena, and it was like a pep rally. I mean, there were people up in the stand. Hey, we had a guy in the stands raise his hand and ask a question, and Bruce, being Bruce as we know him now, he answered the guy's question.
Of course,
and,
of course.
It was the most unbelievable thing ever. And you know, when you make these hires, you know, sometimes, and I've thought about that, be too sensitive about it. You never know what the response is going to be. But when Bruce got off the plane and all those students were there, and he jumped into all those students, and then we go to the press conference, and the place has got all our fans, a lot of our fans, think, okay, we got a chance here. And hey, here's what's weird to sort of round it out. Is that not weird, but just, you know, from Bruce said at his opening press conference, I want to be here, I want to make this my home, and I want to be the winningest basketball coach in Auburn history. And so from Bruce's lips to God's ears, here we are.
Yeah. Winningest coach in Auburn history. I mean,
yeah.
It's and I mean, I said it a little bit tongue in cheek, but we literally have the college football playoffs going on tonight and tomorrow night, and the fact that both Auburn and Alabama, what they've done on the basketball court, there is no denying what the impact has been, because honestly, this defense from this Auburn team is they're just fun to watch.
Well, you know, the other thing is the improvement of the players from last year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not good at it. 44.
Yeah, Cardwell.
He's looks like a different player.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable at his job. I mean, you know, certainly, you know, we're talking about Auburn, but as you said, Steve, across the league, you know, I mean, any given night, Tennessee goes down there and Florida beats them. I mean, it's any given night. I mean, it's going to be brutal, you know, through this SEC schedule. But man, we've got some really good teams, and doesn't it make it so much more fun? You know, our goal at Auburn was to be an everything school.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted baseball, softball, gymnastics, golf. We wanted them all, you know, just to, you know, to have a chance to win SEC championships, because we all know that if you can win an SEC championship, you can certainly win a national championship. So it is fun to talk about it, and man, it just lifts everybody's spirits. And they're all fun things to watch. They really are. They're all fun. Got great athletes.
Well, I know from your time at Auburn, you went down to Florida. How many years were you at Florida, Jay?
We were there. Angie and I were there 5 years. We came back last August a year ago.
That's right.
We were there for 5 years, and it was a wonderful experience. Those people, treated us so kind, and it was just a wonderful experience for us. It was just, amazing how God works in people's lives, and how one door closes and he opens another and just blesses you. At the time, you don't know it when you're going through, that storm in your life, and all of a sudden you pop out and you realize, man, I'm glad I got through that storm, and I'm glad I'm on the other side of it. But it's really blessed me to go through those.
The reason I wanted to go there with you, Jay, was because being an athletic director and then staying in the SEC, you've seen the job evolve a good bit. And how different is being an AD today compared to your time as being an AD?
It is completely night and day. The thing, and I do executive coaching for some C-suite people in the CEOs, and then I do some for some athletics directors.
Yeah.
And I'm always talking to these folks in these roles anyway, just because I care about them and have a lot of friends in it. It is, the things we used to worry about, like eligibility. I know that Wes, when he played, he worried about that a lot. But is that now, you never hear about a player being academically ineligible. And, the stuff that you used to, you never, we're not filing any secondary reports on violations because there aren't any. There's no reason anybody should ever have a violation now. The things that just 4 years ago you were constantly working on, intending to, and managing and growing, today is completely different. It's like you walk in the door every day, and it could be completely different. Your quarterback is now in the portal, and somebody's going to pay him X dollars, and what are you going to do? It's just so different. And I certainly for the players, that's a great thing, but we've got to put some organization around this, because this isn't fair to anybody involved.
Yeah,
the way it's going now.
So, what does compliance do now?
That's a great question. I guess certify their eligibility. Hey, look, I don't really know. Of all the positions I held in athletics, I never held one in compliance. I'm sure that what they're doing is very valuable, but I'm sure that they can sleep better at night, because nobody's going to get in trouble for giving somebody a bagel with peanut butter on it. Bruce makes the comment, I got fired because I had a guy at a barbecue. He said, now I can buy my whole barbecue house.
Yeah, you can buy the whole business, right? Yeah,
exactly. I can buy my whole franchise. So it is. So that's just one example. That's a pretty good example there of just how things have changed. It's just what's so challenging, I think, guys, is the uncertainty of what is around the curve. It's not just now about hiring great coaches and having great student-athlete experiences. It's all these outside entities now have their hand on these players, and you just don't know where the problem's coming from or what the next problem is or the next opportunity is. So the only way that, I think it's going to be corrected is with collective bargaining.
I agree with you. Yeah.
People may not like this, but, they're paid employees. At this
point, it's the best thing that could happen for the schools. It's what they didn't want in the beginning, but now they're begging for it, right?
Exactly. I would be, because, that's why I think we see some of these coaches, you know what? I'm going to get out of here, or I'm going to go to the pros.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to become an offensive coordinator instead of a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
This is just, and it's every sport. Well, it's primarily the big three, but still, our golf team has to worry about that, and gymnastics, all of them do. But it's a challenging time, but I know this, and I know you guys know this too. It is such a wonderful part of a student's life to be able to compete in intercollegiate athletics. I don't know of anything on a campus or in a society that competes with that other than the fearless fighters that defend our Constitution every day, the armed services. I don't know of another way that you can learn the values and the teamwork and the time management and the critical thinking and learn to work with people that aren't like you better than college athletics, other than those great fearless soldiers of ours in the military. Do y'all?
No. I really, that's very well put. And in terms of, does this need to start in D.C., you think? Or is there any chance these commissioners, because there was some reporting from the NCAA with the proposal of giving conferences more of legislative power over their schools, I wonder, one, if you saw that, and two, what do you think of that possibility where the conferences will play a bigger role?
I think that it will be challenging to get something done at the congressional level.
Yeah.
As much as we all care about intercollegiate athletics, I would certainly think that our congressmen and senators have better things to do than this. But if that is the only solution, I'm all for it. I think with the leadership we have at the conference level, that those people can come together and set policies and procedures in place and bring the players to the table and get a solution for this. I just think that there may be a better solution. I don't know what it is. Everybody's been talking about, we've got to come up with something. They've been talking about it for 3 or 4 years. I don't know a better solution than the NFL model.
Yeah.
Is that you do.
But they got a congressional deal, right? They got an exemption. Won't they need an exemption similar to the NFL, antitrust exemption?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's what I think is going to have to happen. I think it has to come from Congress.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But I'm not 100% about that. But just the way all the lawsuits are coming, that the lawfare has to go away.
Yeah.
Right? And once the lawfare goes away and they come to agreement, then they'll be able to work forward and get something that makes sense other than this. This is like, okay, let's think of the worst thing that could happen in college football. Here we go. Right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, we're going to make all the bowl games, and you can transfer anytime you want to.
But then everybody's going to want to watch you. And then everybody thinks everything's okay because of the TV numbers.
Yeah, but that's
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm practicing here without a license, but I thought that maybe if you had collective bargaining and all the players agreed to it and they fell under that, then would be good to go. But I don't know. But the point is that, and a group that I'm with called AD Advisors, we wrote a paper. It was published, part of it was published in Sports Business Journal about the transfers. And we interviewed over 800 guys in football. We only did football on. Mm-hmm. And 60% of those guys drop down a level when they transfer. So it's everybody, we see the guy that goes from, power 4 to power 4.
Yeah.
But 60% of those guys go from, a Power 4 school down to a Group of 5 school, or some of them even matriculate out.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting as to what's going on, and that's what makes it. That's what Wes. So could you imagine? I mean, I think, and I may be just because I played offensive line and you did too. I may be, but how can offensive line? You have to be a unit.
Yes.
And if every year you got 2 or 3 new guys in there with you, I don't know how you become a great unit.
Well,
I think on defense you can react to those type things. But what were you going to say?
Yeah, well, it's. I don't think the football is that good. I mean, what I watch, it's not consistently good. I mean, there's some really good teams now at the end of the year, but Ohio State would have lost 3 or 4 games in the SEC at the beginning of the year. They were down 2 or 3 linemen. They struggled in a lot of games. I mean, they barely beat Nebraska at home. They had trouble with some teams, and now they're peaking and they're really good.
Yeah.
But I think that the offensive line play, even in the NFL, is not very good at times. Some of these, I mean, you see the guys, just little things, Jay, and we were really coached by the same people, right? They were just wearing different hats. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah, we're all raised the same way. I mean, but you see NFL offensive linemen stepping off with the wrong foot on the goal line.
It's amazing, and they play so high.
Yeah, it's in the
zone blocking. But anyway, I think that the key is how can we put something in place that sort of slows down this spigot a little bit, and I just don't know. I don't know the answer to that because it just keeps changing, and you don't know what your next battle is.
Well,
makes it really tough as an AD and a head coach.
Right. We actually had a conversation with AD not long ago, and he was saying that the NIL they got stuff they're going to come out with where NIL will be NIL. It won't be you just can pay somebody for any reason whatsoever, and then they'll have something where there's everybody gets paid kind of the same, but there'll be a payment, and but the NIL won't be. In other words, it'll be Pepsi paying the NIL, not some alumni paying you to go to just do what you want to, and the enforcement will come back. But I'll believe it when I see it. So
I do too, because see, you said the whole issue here. I think one of the biggest issues here is this litigious society. Everybody keeps suing. Every time you open up sports in the morning, there's another school saying that, you know what, I'm not going to be part of this house settlement, so I'm going to sue you. Or some state attorney's office saying, you know what, we're not part of that. That's what the problem is that the lawsuit. So maybe what you're saying about congressional help, that's what
I think can make it all go away. That's the only thing, in my opinion, that can settle that down. Although, so there's this is arbitrary, but this tells you how stupid it's gotten. I don't know. You saw where U.S. Steel was going to be bought out by Japan, Nippon, which is a Japanese steel company.
No.
The president said the United States stopped it. You can argue either way, but he stopped it, saying it's a U.S. company and it should stay in the U.S. So it was blocked by the government. Their lawyers are suing another steel firm now, saying that they're the one that caused it.
So you tell me this is not just college football?
Yeah, no, it isn't. And that's what I'm saying. It's a huge issue.
It's not. It is not. But the lawsuit is what has got commissioners and ads and the college athletics stabby, because you just don't know where the next one's going to come from. I mean, the great player, the quarterback at Vanderbilt, he jumps out there, so now he's got eligibility. So
and now you can go to junior college. It doesn't count.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I forgive me, I can't remember the former student athlete's name, but I read today that he played in 2010 to 2012 or something like that, and he's suing because he didn't get NIL.
Oh, there's a bunch of that now going on.
Let me tell you something. Hey, Wes, whenever you get that class action suit going, now I'm going to sign up with you, brother.
Yeah, I know. So
what, the 1983 NC State Wolfpack basketball team is suing.
That's right.
For
exactly.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's.
I know
it. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Bizarre. It's bizarre.
I can't thank you enough for hopping on, and I really didn't mean to get off on a tangent like that. But I mean, we all love the sport. We all love collegiate athletics and realize its importance. You've kind of said this in this interview, the importance of collegiate athletics, and this is why talking about it, coming up with some solutions, I think is pretty vital rather than just I mean, we all know that this is a mess around us. We just need to figure out where to put the hose and start, that containing this blaze.
Exactly right. And I just really believe we got some really smart people, Greg Sankey and other commissioners. I think they'll figure it out. And I know that they're working on this tirelessly. But it's just like an AD. There's something comes up every day that changes the course or whatever it may be. But to circle it back, Steve, to the positive, is that, we're talking about Bruce Pearl, and, in his time here at Auburn, he's graduated 42 guys. I mean, that's just unbelievable. He's graduated 42 guys. He's given people a chance to do something they couldn't have ever done otherwise, in all likelihood. Come to college, get a degree, and go raise a family and make a good living. That's what it's about too. And then take those skills that you learned on the field or the court or the pool or wherever it may be, and apply those to your life. That's just what makes good culture, good America, you know?
Well, that, and we also found out the power of a cup of coffee. And
yeah.
And the first impressions aren't everything, and the power of coffee there for the Auburn men's basketball program. Jay, I can't thank you enough for hopping on.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Stephen West, always good to talk to you guys. You all be blessed, okay?
Likewise. Thank you so much, sir.
Bye-bye.
That is Jay Jacobs, the Auburn athletic director at the time, which was, at the time, a pretty controversial hire across the state. How long is this guy? He'll be gone in 2 years.
I don't remember. I never thought that. I remember when he was hired because we were working together.
Yeah. Well,
we were shocked they were able to hire him, and then we found out how. I think it was Jay that told us in the
But I wanted him to rehash that.
Yeah, it's a great story.
It really is. And again,
I want to know the other coach, but I had too much respect to ask him.
Yeah, I may try to find that answer out later. Coming up later on tonight is the college football playoff, and you'll be able to hear it right here tonight and tomorrow night. I hope everybody's ready for Snowmageddon 25, because evidently, at least from the latest models that were on the local channel that's in here in the studio, supposedly coming in here around 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. So
I tried to hitch up the husky at the house, and she won't get off the fuzzy blanket, so I don't think we're going anywhere.
That's tough. That's tough. We've only got 20 minutes left in this very program, but we'll try to squeeze in a call or two. So let's take our first time out here on a Thursday. It is The Drive, and we will be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our...
It's time to get your family into boating. The Huntsville Boat Show is back January 16th through the 19th at BBC. Shop, compare, and save thousands on your family's dream boat. Hundreds of new boats to purchase on site. Shop pontoons, wake surf boats, fishing boats, and more. Visit HuntsvilleBoatShow.com. It's time to get your family into boating. The Huntsville Boat Show is back January 16th through the 19th at BBC. Shop, compare, and save thousands on your family's dream boat. Hundreds of new boats to purchase on site. Shop pontoons, wake surf boats, fishing boats, and more. Visit HuntsvilleBoatShow.com.
Feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
I am living on Channel Z.
Coming up tonight over on Talk Radio, WZZN, UH Charger basketball, the 6th-ranked team in the country, in town tonight. In fact, right now on the Charger zone is the UH Charger women's basketball team. Scott Tyson has the call right now. Just download our app, and you can listen to it for free. Just click on the Charger logo for the Charger zone. And coverage of the men's side will start roughly around 7:20-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood, over on Talk Radio WZZN. The big story of the day, I'm really glad Jay Jacobs was kind enough to hop in with us, but really the story of the day is Carson Beck, the former Georgia quarterback who declared for the draft of the National Football League, has decided to enter the transfer portal. So he had to take his name out of, because the drop-dead date, the NFL had to move back because the college football playoffs do not end till the 20th of January. So that date had to get pushed back. So Carson had time to take his name out of the NFL draft, put his name in the portal. And you're probably saying, well, wait a second, I thought you told me the portal closed the Saturday of Christmas. Well, that's true, but there is still the graduate transfer part of it, and Carson Beck has graduated from the University of Georgia, and the grad transfer always open. That part is always open. So if you hear the words blah, blah has entered the transfer portal right now, it's because he is a grad transfer. So that, and also, what did you say to me during the break about Carson Beck? Probably received a big-time offer from a school, maybe Miami. That's the speculation, is that Carson Beck, in theory, might be heading down to Coral Gables and become the new signal caller.
Where's Carson Beck from?
Carson Beck, I want to say Texas. Let's see here. Carson Beck, because it feels like all of these quarterbacks are either from California, Texas, pick one. There's a quarterback tonight for Notre Dame from Alabama. Carson Beck is from, let's see here, Jacksonville, Florida.
There you go.
That's right. I knew that. I forgot about that because of the whole cocktail party thing. But yeah, he is from Jacksonville, Florida, and age 22, by the way. So he's no Stetson Bennett. So
yeah, he's 26 when he graduated.
Yeah. Stetson. You know what? Stetson Bennett may have a year of eligibility now.
Yeah, I think he's a professional. He's being paid. He can't go back to amateur athletics, right?
Yeah, this is amateur athletics. Phone lines are jammed up, and let's talk to Tennessee Jeff. First up out of the gate. How you feeling, Jeff?
I'm feeling pretty good for an old man.
Good.
If it was up to me, I'd hire Bruce Pearl, too. the Tennessee fans mourn the days.
He got a good coach up there now.
Oh, and I wouldn't trade him.
Yeah.
He may not be quite as good a coach as Bruce Pearl, but they're both just absolutely. I mean, Bruce had that little blip in his character that he is.
You tell me right now, straight up trade Rick Barnes for Bruce Pearl.
No.
You're saying no.
I'm saying Barnes. Okay. Not a better man in college sports. He's a Christian first. He's worried about. He's developing players as men second, and wins are third at best. And of course they looked like that, and they went down to Florida and couldn't. Wow. Chaz Lanier went the top scorer in the country had just lit everybody up. You couldn't.
So Jeff, there's four games a year that nobody can control. The two that you make like 18 threes and you just boat race a team. The other two is when you shoot like 20%, and it just happens. And
if they'd have shot 20%, they'd have beat them.
But you know what I'm saying? That there's those two games that's always in everybody's resume, and some of them kind of eke through them. And those teams are the special teams that can find a way. But I mean, the SEC. This was last night. I was just mesmerized watching Oklahoma and Texas A&M, and that was a fun game to watch last night.
Well, I watched the Florida-Tennessee game again, and it was the most physical. It was the most physical game that the Clayton kid that lit up Kentucky on Saturday for 33 had a total of 7 points. He couldn't make it either. They undoubtedly shrunk the goals. I wouldn't push anything past the Gators.
Wow!
But,
wow!
I can't wait to get them in Knoxville or in the tournament. That is the game. I don't care about the rest of the tournament. I want those Gators on a neutral or back in Knoxville, and I assure you we'll have a different result. And I want to say one thing. If Texas can cover number 4, and I kind of doubt they can, if they got they're supposed to have really good defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can cover number 4, they can beat Ohio State. And I'm sure pulling for them. I just kind of doubt that it's going to happen. I heard today a pretty knowledgeable guy say that if number 4, a true freshman wide receiver, were eligible for the draft, he'd be the number 1 pick.
I don't doubt that. I'm not going to disagree with that.
He's the best college football player I've seen this year, hands down. And he's the hammer. He's double what Sampson was for Tennessee. It's as he goes, so will Ohio State. I mean, you wait and see if they can cover him, Texas can win that game.
Jeremiah Smith, I assume, is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's number 4.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, he's 19 years old.
Oh, yeah, he's not 17.
He's not 17. He's 19 years old.
He's a man.
Yeah, he's a full-grown freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most freshmen aren't 19
where he's
either.
From. But it was Ohio State folks. It was some folks from up north talking about it. And,
Jeremiah Smith is from Miami Gardens, Florida.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about a target-rich environment in terms of athletes.
Yeah.
Well, if you want.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Yeah, thank you for calling, Jeff. Hey, he's probably who was the wide receiver for the Hurricanes and went to the Dallas Cowboys? He's probably one of
Irvin.
Irvin. He's
Michael Irvin.
Probably rated as Michael Irvin.
There might be some bloodlines there.
Yeah. Because wasn't Michael Irvin from Miami, too?
Oh,
There
yeah.
were a bunch of those guys, Benny Blades and all those guys.
Yeah.
I actually hung out with Benny Blades one time.
I bet. Is this filtered or unfiltered?
No, it was at a funeral, actually.
Oh, well,
I wasn't drinking, they were. the funeral.
David Bryce, I promise we'll get to you on the other side of our final timeout. Walking up to the college football playoffs right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
It's time to get your family into boating. The Huntsville Boat Show is back January 16th through the 19th at VBC. Shop, compare, and save thousands on your family's dream boat. Hundreds of new boats to purchase on site. Shop pontoons, wake surf boats, fishing boats, and more. Visit HuntsvilleBoatShow.com. It's time to get your family into boating. The Huntsville Boat Show is back January 16th through the 19th at VBC. Shop, compare, and save thousands on your family's dream boat. Hundreds of new boats to purchase on site. Shop pontoons, wake surf boats, fishing boats, and more. Visit HuntsvilleBoatShow.com.
Orthopedics. You're thinking bones, muscles, and joints, right? Well, what else comes to mind? Maybe your spine, therapy, or an arm cast? What about sports medicine? What do you think about when you hear that? Are you thinking about the largest orthopedic group in the state, caring for the most student athletes in North Alabama? Or about the fact that they are teamed up with the state's largest hospital-based sports medicine program to provide care to more schools in North Alabama than any other group? If you are, you have TOC Sports and Huntsville Hospital Sports Center on the brain. If you're not, you should, because Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports have partnered for more than 2 decades to establish a state-of-the-art team of certified athletic trainers and orthopedic specialists who successfully continue to meet and exceed the sports medicine needs of schools, athletes, coaches, and parents in our community. Committing to kids, committing to community, committing to care. That's Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-Sparky.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
A winter storm warning will go into effect at midnight ahead of Friday's winter weather potential. We're forecast to see snow, freezing rain, and possibly sleet, transitioning to a very cold rain in the afternoon. High temperatures are expected to warm into the upper 30s, but heading into Friday night, things are expected to refreeze, making for a treacherous travel on the roadways. Expect a mostly cloudy sky, low temperatures falling into the lower 30s. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thank you for making us your #1 choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Nittany Lions and the Fighting Irish are going to meet for the 20th time in program history. The series is even at 9-9-1. Penn State, there will not be a tie tonight, by the way. If there will, that'll be breaking news. Penn State and Notre Dame meet for a bowl game just for the second time 2 previous times played in the 1976 Gator Bowl. It's a win by Notre Dame. And the last matchup in 2007, Penn State won 31-10. So we'll see what happens tonight. Marcus Freeman or James Franklin? Who would you want as your head coach, Wes Neighbors? Marcus Freeman or James Franklin?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. That's why I asked you.
I think Marcus Freeman has done a really good job to get to Notre Dame back there. Because to me, they have risen the most out of all the teams there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they didn't play a very hard schedule.
No.
But they did take care of business. Because in my mind, I mean, Oklahoma wasn't any good, and Alabama didn't take care of business.
That's right.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to, they went to USC and beat them, beat the dog out of them too. It's not so
USC beat LSU.
Penn State might have the two best pass rushing teams. And Levin's going to play tonight. They said that guy can play now. He's the real deal, and the other side guy is too.
Yeah.
Both defensive ends at Ohio State, both defensive ends at Notre Dame. At Ohio State and at Penn State are 4 of the best players I've seen all year.
David, appreciate you holding. You're next up. How are you, sir?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Hey, really enjoyed that interview with Jay Jacobs. That was really insightful about the whole thing with Bruce Pearl and the NIL. And I just want to make a couple of comments about that. First of all, with Bruce Pearl, it might have been 25 years ago, but I remember the first time I saw him, it was in the NCAA tournament, and he was I think it was at Wisconsin Green Bay.
Yep.
And I remember watching them play, and I think they pulled a couple of upsets, and I just remember thinking, like, my goodness, this guy can coach. And then, he surfaced in the SEC several years later, and I'm a Kentucky basketball fan, and after Calipari left, Bruce Pearl was on the top of my list of guys that I was hoping they would go get. Now, I'm happy with Mark Pope, but Pearl is an absolute steal, and what he's doing at Auburn is pretty impressive. Also, with the NIL thing that y'all were talking about, I don't know if y'all have heard of this, but I'm reading a book right now called The Price by Armin Katayan. And they interviewed over 200 coaches and athletic, officials, agents, and it's really about the current state of college football and the whole NIL fiasco. In my opinion, it's a fiasco. And it really gives behind-the-scenes look into what's going on. And I'm convinced NIL is one of the major reasons Nick Saban is retired.
Yeah.
And if you read into the chapters on Saban, you would probably think the same thing. And
I will say 100%. If
read.
It wasn't NIL, Coach Saban would still be coaching. Or if he was younger, he'd still be coaching. It's the combination of both.
I agree.
So The Price by Armin Katayan, I'll try to look into that.
It's a wonderful book. If you're a college football fan, you'll love it.
Okay. Thank you there. Thank you, David.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Bryce, we are just flat out of time. My apologies. In theory, we're on tomorrow for an hour. Batten down the hatches.
Snowmageddon is coming.
That's right. Milk and bread and vodka.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s.